Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we're going to take a look at the tangle Bat Umber from CZT Kelley Kelly. Now, I can't remember which I found first, but these, if you're following my videos day-to-day, yesterday I posted one called Kuke. And so I will post the story on this. It'll be under, for more inspiration, the Tangle Patterns link, which tells more of the story. But Kuke seemed to be some of the inspiration. She called it a mashup, and I'm not sure what the other tangle was on here. But anyway, these two are related, and I thought, oh, well, why not do them back to back? All right, so this one, now I changed up my step out from Kelly's just because I thought it was a little bit, it was easier for me anyway to start out with this straight double line down the center. Now, I'm also thinking this one could be cute if you just did it half. So like say this is, maybe it's a border or a string. Actually, I was also thinking, because the second part is drawing this curved line. I'm going to kind of start it here. Now this one, I had trouble with kind of making them, a little angular, sort of. And I'm going to tell you, as everything else, it doesn't matter. So doing this one, you know what, I'm going to flip it to aura it. So we're doing one, you know, and if you can try to make them angular, that will work. If they're more curvy, you know, like so, like I said, either way, it is not going to matter. And you will see on Kelly's step out, hers are more angular, and so you can kind of find out what, figure out what works best for you and do it. Okay, I was thinking, because like when I drew my, my curvy borders, I'm like, oh, that could be interesting. So if I did a curvy border and then aura'd it, and maybe put a straight line up on top or something like that and do it this way, that could be kind of interesting. So I'm going to have to try that later. But anyways, you know what? I'm going to do the mirror image of this on the other side, because that's what she has in her step out. So again, so kind of mirroring, I'm flipping it because as I was playing with it, I was doing one side a lot bigger than the other, and it was just kind of funny. And I was thinking, because originally I was doing it, and then we're going to aura this side also, I was not flipping my tile, and I'm thinking by flipping my tile it seems to be a little bit more uniform ish. So all right, so once you have this done, then we're gonna, I'm calling them, well, so we can think of it two ways. One way is a tethered orb. So, and this would be a very long tethered orb. So tethering it right here in the center. And then we're going to come up to the center and, you know, and come back down again to the same port or close to it. Then, same thing here. Or you could think of it kind of as flux, but maybe flux kind of straight. And then we're just going to grow, you know, have these just as tall, and then we're angling them out and having it just kind of fill in this space. Now I'm going to try, yes. I was doing this all in this, holding my tile in the same place, and I have just decided that, you know, let's try not doing that. And there we go. Sorry, I was off the screen a minute. But we're going to do this again. So if I was off the screen for that, I apologize. I was when I just looked at it. I don't know for how long it was, because I wasn't looking at my screen. I was looking at the tile. But you can see, and just kind of staying focused on this point and go slow. And like I said, if you think of it as a tethered orb, that it does kind of help, because it's like I'm starting here, I'm coming up here, filling the space, you know, and then coming back down to that same starting point. And you know what? Slower is always better. All right, now we're going to flip, do the same thing on the opposite side. And now if you did watch the Kuke video, the one thing on there that is different from this is, well, this is also, you know, curvy, where that one, the center, it was pointed, and it seemed like on Katie's step out, she avoided having that first tethered orb going into the corner. I mean, you can kind of do it however you want, and I think it gives a different effect because then you have that opening, where this one we're going into the center. And then working to make them be similar thickness. And because I got one on the other side here that's a little bit skinny, and then well, they still look okay. You know how it is. Everything is good in Zentangle. And you can do things like this if you just notice I went whoop, and I continued in one stroke without lifting up my pen. So you can feel free to do that over here because this is like a continuation. I'm gonna, or it's a partial as I like to call it. Oh, let's see. It would be coming this way. All right. And that was basically it. That is what she has. Now, if you notice, again, in the link to the Tangle Patterns, here's some other thoughts. So number one, oh, okay, here's one I didn't add. So I didn't add this on my step out, so I'm going to add it here. On some of hers, so just as, little additions, so now you can, decorate, fill in as you want. In these spaces, she put some orbs. And that's kind of nice. So I did not put this in the step out. I'm like, oh, now I'm going to have to redo that step out. That's okay. That's the bonus for watching the video. We're going to call it that. So in these spaces, look at how cool that looks. Ooh, I like that. In my step out, I just did a fill in, which looks cool too. Now, so of course you have your options, or you could just leave it as it is. Oops, this side I didn't do. That looks really, really neat. I'm really liking that. Oh, let's see. All right, if I was doing this, I would be coming from here. I would be like that. This kind of be the same way. So then I would put an orb here maybe and an orb there maybe. There we go. Now, while that looks really cool, let's go ahead and do that little fill in just because it makes it pop. And of course, do you have to? Nope. It's just whatever you feel like doing. I kind of like to let it look at it for a little bit and just see what it tells me to do. What's it calling me to do? But just these little gaps, and it's this is a technique that we do with a lot of these when we're using orbs or other things like the tangle. That was a little sloppy. Poke root, poke leaf. We do printomps, same way where when you have those little gaps, you fill them in. And you can see how that, well, even though some of my little places here are a little sloppy. But you can, well, you actually, let me, as I finish this one, then you can see the difference. And you know what? If it gets a little sloppy, you can course correct by, so like right here was a little sloppy and I just redefined that side and cleaned it right up and it looks nice. So it is one of those things where it does pay to go slow. But so you can see the difference between this, and you just decide which you like better. Personally, I like the filled in better, so we'll do that. And I was trying to think, oh, the little one right there. Other ways that you could decorate. And of course, if you felt like using color, that's some other fun that you could have with that in using color. She didn't really show, let me look at the pictures. Oh yeah, there was, well, I can show a little bit of the shading that she did. And it seemed like it was more putting some graphite in the center and having it come outwards. It wasn't necessarily in the step out. but that's okay. I have done this before where I didn't necessarily put a suggestion for shading in the step out, and sometimes like, well, really it's a good idea too, because that way then, we who are following the directions know what to do then. All right, so that looks really cool. Oh, let me add one other thing. So, which I noticed in her samples is in these, well, depending on which way you look at it, in these crevices here, you can do a similar thing here where we're doing like the tethered orb. Maybe a thin or whatever will fit, like so. And I know she put some little. Actually, I think I kind of like having like that. And you could maybe make them arch a little bit more if you want. Ooh, that one went out a little bit too much to the side. Oh, sometimes the pen just gets away from me. And these ones you could just maybe fill in right here in these little gaps, just right there. You would, obviously you're not going to fill in the other way. Oh, and let's just do it right here too. And now I put just, what do I have here? 5. If depending on the space you have, I would try to keep these evenly spaced. And if you need to put in, I'm just going to go like this, just because that would be easy. And I think in my step out, I have some that have maybe 7. So fill it, as you can, but trying to make it even so it will look nice. And this is just an optional step. Ooh, that one didn't line up at all, but oh well. Let's try again. There we go. You know what? See, it's the slower. Slower is good. I'm almost thinking I kind of like just having those 2 like that. That's what she has in her samples, but I thought, well, let's just try. And it looks kind of neat. I will look back at this afterwards, like most things, and go, oh, yeah, that was really cool. All right, let's do this. And that would be kind of a partial orb there. Let's fill in these guys. And this, when you do something like this, I would just go ahead and just fill in that whole little side. Just because. I guess I'd rather have it filled in than have the gap there. But that is, of course, up to you. Oops. Let's see, let's get these couple little guys here done and complete the orb. Well, you know what? Here's what just occurred to me, because some of my orbs I'm not liking. Oh, except I filled in. Well, now that I've done it, hold on. If you leave a little gap too, then they could be like this. Then they could be like pearls. And if you miss the gap, then you can go back. Some of this is just me playing. And so me playing, you're watching. And if you like it, then great. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you're like, yep, nope, don't like that. Not going to try that. Thanks, Heather. But let me say, it's one of those things where, once you try something, then it's like, okay, let us just continue. Like I said, so I'm leaving that, a little bit open there. Oh, so, you know what? It's one of those where you go back and go, yeah, not so bad. And let's see. And so if, by chance, and even, if you color them all in, I'm just taking a white jelly roll and putting a little dot kind of in the center. So it looks like that shine. Those are there. it's a nice little something. So if you decided afterwards, and then I'm just tapping it. I mean, if you might have to, get the ink or the ink flowing a little bit, but I'm just tapping it and it leaves a nice little spot, and then that's good. And then let it dry, so that way then, you'll see what it looks like. If you need to go back and dot it again, you can. But let's do this really quick. So if you wanted to add some shading, now depending on the size of yours, I mean, you could kind of go up a side or something, but we're just gonna do this basic, just putting some in that, in the base, and we'll spread it upwards. Mm-hmm. So this just kind of like having it radiate, ooh, neat, from that center point. That's kind of cool. But like I said, you could do, depending on this, on the size of yours, you could have them, just going up along one side. Actually, even small. You could, if you're good, and controlled, you could probably get that to work just fine. And if your tip of your tortillon is nice enough. Ooh, but see, look at how neat that looks. Just by doing that, adds a little life to it. Kind of cool. And of course, just like anything, there are other ways you could decorate. You could, if you wanted to put a little line up the center of those, or a line dot dot, my favorite thing. You could have fun with that, because like I said, this kind of makes me think of flux a little bit. So you could certainly do that. It would be really cool. So anyway, with that, I hope you enjoyed this. So I'm looking and okay, so I just have to, because I said it, and now I have to. You know what? I'm going to do it on these ones, because I'm not really tickled with these. And hence my, I wasn't really digging that. It's when my brain was just kind of being stuck for a minute. So thanks for your patience. And I'm just going to do these on these, just because. If you do it on all of them, it's nice to do it on some, because then they just look a little bit different. Oh, see, I don't know, something about that. That's why it's one of my most favorite things in the world to do, because it's like, all right, wasn't happy, now I'm like, wow, who did that? So anyway, that's just so funny. All right. If you enjoyed this, would love to have a thumbs up. And if you liked it enough to see more, if you haven't subscribed yet, I would be absolutely honored if to have you as a subscriber to the channel. And so you hit the subscription button, and then also make sure to hit the notification bell next to it, so you can tell YouTube how you want to be notified, if you want to be notified at all. Also, in that description section, scroll down past the step out links for more information if you would like to connect with me. If you'd like to, I do a combination. I do some free classes and some paid classes. I actually do more free stuff than I do paid. So would love to have you join us on either. And information about that is on my website. You can always, leave a comment or, connect with me, via email, through a website, and all of that kind of stuff. So with that, I do hope you enjoyed. I really appreciate you watching, and I wish you happy tangling.